So I wanted to do a little video on Zoom versus ZoomText. Zoom is the default magnifier in Mac OS X. We're going to start with that. To initiate our magnifier, we push Option Command 8. Now right now I have it in lens view, which is what I personally prefer. The reason being that I can see the menu bar. I can see the dock. I can see that there are items in the dock. Can I see what the items are? No. Can I see what I'm in the Finder? No. Can I see, other details? No, I cannot. So what we're going to do is we are going to, and this is a lot of fun because right now you notice the cursor's pretty much non-existent. This is going to be fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to System Preferences. I'm going to go over here to Accessibility. Notice how small the lens is. And I've got an alert up here. What's this? Low battery. Okay. That should take care of that. So we're going to go into Accessibility. And the only reason I know my way around so well, even though I can't see the cursor, is because of the fact that I've been using a Mac for over 12 years. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Zoom, and we're going to go to full screen. And now, what if we wanted to go to white on black? So what we have to do is we have to check two separate boxes. And notice that we've left the zoom section. We're now in the display section. We have to click use grayscale and invert colors. Okay. So let's go back to let's show you some other stuff. I was going to say let's go back to the web browser, but I want to save that for another for a little bit later. So we've got some items up in here, and the only reason I know that is because I know my way around my own system. But if I were a brand new person, never touched a Mac, and it was like this, I wouldn't even know that there was anything like this. I would just see blank space. So let's just click randomly and see what comes up. So we got our messages, we got time machine, and I can't even see the text that's below me. I can see what's in white, but I can't see what's above that. And you know what's even better? This is the second time that I've done this video, and on your end, what you guys are seeing, you're not seeing this at all. You're not seeing the high contrast. But on my end, I've got all sorts of crazy, this picture, to you it may appear normal, but for me, it's basically somebody having gone through a radioactive chamber and then dipped in chocolate. So let's switch it back. Well, in order to do that, we have to go all the way back over here, which means you basically have to have this window up at all times, which I think is very inconvenient. And you notice that there are no keyboard shortcuts here either. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch off the grayscale, and now you notice things have gotten worse. They're bright orange, and we go down into the dock. Look at this. So that's going to be turned off now. What if we wanted to go back to lens view? Like I said, we have to go back into zoom. Let's go to picture in picture. But then what about that cursor? There is a way to adjust it. Aha, and you notice that I was about to adjust the display contrast by mistake. So let's go to cursor size. That's as big as it gets. You notice the lens isn't very big either. You don't have much space to work with if you want to keep it in lens view, which personally speaking, I like it in lens view because that gives me the opportunity to see. Let's see, I've got some information over here on the right side. I want to see what that is. I can just move that over here. And if I wanted information on the article, I just, click it. You know how a website works. But what I'm saying is having both views at once is really beneficial. So let's go back. That's pretty much it for Zoom. It's, like I said, it's in these two items here. Well, what about speech? Well, first of all, let's try typing something. Command space to get into Spotlight, so we could type in test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you notice it's tracking, but it's not doing a very good job. You notice that there's a significant delay. So let's get out of here. And going back to the speech, what I was going to touch on a second ago, what if you wanted to do that? Well, because there are dedicated magnification solutions on the Windows side, definitely, that offer this. For instance, if you only need speech some of the time. Well, in order to do that, you have to turn VoiceOver on.
VoiceOver on, Finder, desktop, desktop.
And if I move my mouse around, we could go into
System Preferences, Accessibility, Window, Accessibility Features, Table, VoiceOver, VoiceOver Image. Selected has keyboard focus.
So let's go in here to the VoiceOver utility.
You are currently on a table. To enter this table, VoiceOver Utility, VoiceOver Utility.
I do apologize if this is a little loud. Let me turn down the volume a little bit, see, that might be better. So what are we going to do here? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to switch to, let's see. It's been a while since I've been in here, so forgive me.
Navigation.
Here we go. Yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. So navigation. Now, mouse pointer ignores VoiceOver cursor.
Ignores VoiceOver cursor.
So we could say move.
Closing menu, utility categories, table, navigation. Selected. You are currently on a table. To enter this table, press Control, Option, Shift, down arrow. Allow cursor wrapping, checked, checkbox. Automatically interact when using tab key, checked, checkbox. Skip redundant labels, unchecked, checkbox. Allow cursor wrapping, checked, checkbox.
You get either all or none, though, and in this instance, it's not so bad.
Currently on a checkbox. To select or deselect this checkbox, press Control, Option, Space.
Except for that. Certainly I could use Control, Option, Space, but I don't need to. I can just click. The problem is you've got to use VoiceOver if you want to have any kind of speech output assistance with the magnification.
Initial toolbar.
And what's even more is
battery, spot, blue, toolbar, file, window, submenu.
Now you notice that because I'm moving my mouse around, VoiceOver's following it, and basically, like I said, I don't need the speech all the time. I prefer to decide when I want it rather than having it, constantly on or constantly off.
Toolbar, mouse pointer, moves VoiceOver, menu 3, checkmark, checkmark, moves VoiceOver cursor, menu 3 items, closing menu, ignores VoiceOver cursor, mouse pointer, pop-up button.
So I switched it back to ignores VoiceOver cursor.
You are currently in a pop-up button.
And
utility categories, table, navigation, selected.
Let's get out of here.
System preferences, VoiceOver off.
So essentially, you have to be running two separate applications just to have VoiceOver assistance. And you may have noticed here, for a second there, I was worried that I honestly closed the wrong one. So let's go back into Zoom. You have to have this window up at all times. There is no keyboard shortcut for anything as far as the only keyboard shortcut you have is to adjust magnification and switch it on and off. You do not get any additional shortcuts as far as switching high contrast on and off. You don't get any, you don't get any additional options for the pointer. You don't get any additional options for speech, and all without having to leave the application you're in. You've got to come into accessibility options and shuffle between these two just to get things the way you want it. And if you switch things from time to time, like I do, and I'll show you in a moment with ZoomText what I mean, but I'll give you an example. I might like to have white text on a black background to read, but then when I see the picture, I might want to see the picture in regular view. Well, in order to do that with this, I have to shuffle back and forth, and it's just very inconvenient. Not to mention with the small size of this lens, scrolling through text becomes a nightmare. And you're probably thinking, well, why not just go to full screen? All right, let's do that. Let's go to full screen. So we're now at full screen, and you notice now we've got this great big pointer that we don't really need. Now that we're in full screen, so we have to go back to display, and we have to switch cursor size back to normal. And all this time, by the way, I do want to point something out. Keep an eye on the quality of everything that you see here. You notice now that we're cut off from a significant amount of information. So let's say that there is an article over on the right-hand side. I've never been to this website, right? How would I know that there's not something on the right-hand side? I'll give you an example. At one point, I signed a petition about an article that I didn't really care for, about a topic that I didn't really care for, by mistake. And the reason is because I'd never been to that website. It was a link that a close friend had given me, and they said that I'd like to sign it. They apparently were joking with me, and of course I didn't realize till afterward. But the reason I didn't realize it was because I could not see the entire website. I could not see the context of the information. And it takes time to scroll around like this. Not to mention, after a good long while, it can make people dizzy. So let's compare all of this to ZoomText. So we're going to close this out, and we're going to start up ZoomText with Option-Command-Delete. You notice a couple of things right away. You notice we are in lens view. You notice the cursor is considerably bigger. If we move up here to the menu bar, you notice things are a lot smoother. You get a much bigger field of view. Now, what if you wanted to... Now, let me just show you the benefits of the lens view real quick before we continue. Now I know that there's an article over here on the right, and if I have any interest in it, I just move the lens over here, and I've got a nice big view. Now, you notice that I can't see all of the text that I'm currently hovering over, right? So what do? Well, I can just hit the Command key. Let me turn the volume back up to make sure you guys can hear. So let me just hit the Command key.
Link, Interstellar makes the case for humanity's return to space.
There you go. And you can shift the speech on and off with an Option-Command-3. What about the high contrast one I was telling you about? Option-Command \. So I can be moving along here, looking at an article. Oh, there's a picture. Option-Command \. You notice the picture itself is a lot better. Now, what about that full screen that I told you about earlier? Well, we can do that too. Option-Command-F. Switch it on and off.
Link, null.
Now, everything that I just showed you can be accessed by pushing Option-Command-Enter, bringing up the ZoomText control panel. But you noticed that a lot of these features, for example, we go into enhancements. Screen color scheme, watch. We have it on normal, Option-Command \. White on black, normal. I didn't touch the mouse at all. We've got our cursor. We've even got cursor enhancement. So I could hit circle. Got this nice black circle if I ever need it. Thankfully I don't, so I'm going to switch that off. Text. Cursor scheme, blue wedge. What does that mean? Well, let's go back into Spotlight. That's the blue wedge. You have it's much easier. It is considerably smoother. And also, notice how much better the quality of everything looks. And you can also customize, in addition to the size of the cursor, I forgot to tell you, in addition to the size, you can also change the color if you ever need it. And you notice the cursor in itself is considerably bigger than the absolute maximum size provided by OS X. So let's go back to that high contrast.
White on black.
Here are the icons that I cannot see again. Except this time I can kind of tell that there's something there, I just don't know what it is. Last time all I saw was blank space. So let's go in here and hover over this. I don't know what that is, so hit Command.
Bluetooth.
Okay. So let's open the battery menu again. And I can see that there's something there. I can make it out a little better, but I'm still not 100% sure. For instance, a 3, a 6, and an 8 can be confusing, so I'm going to hit... I'm going to hit Command.
4:03 until full, disabled menu item.
So a little over 4 hours until it's fully charged. Now, let's go back to regular view. Let's select an article. Just at random, we'll select this one. Now, you heard me mention earlier that the scrolling can be a bit of a chore, right? Well, what if you've scrolled around for a while, you want to give your eyes a break? Because everybody should give their eyes a break on the computer, but what if you can't for work reasons or you're in the middle of some big personal project? Well, if you need to get information about an article, but you don't want to strain your eyes any further than you need to, Option Command R.
Retrieving Ford, UPS, and Visa want net neutrality, but they won't tell you that. It's not just tech giants and President Obama pushing for a tougher approach to net neutrality. Other outlets want reforms, too.
So, this is the web reader. It extracts only the article that you want to read. Everything else, bye-bye. This is really wonderful. Like I said before, the only way you can get this sort of accessibility on the Mac by default is to shuffle, sort of juggle, between VoiceOver, Zoom, and the display accessibility options all at once. ZoomText takes everything, puts it into a nice little package, and offers these wonderful enhancements. And the other really, really great thing about it is, let's say, for instance, I've got it on high contrast, okay? And we'll keep the pointer as it is. But let's say I've got these engaged. On the Mac, by default, in order to disengage the high contrast options and the magnification options, this is not even counting the cursor enhancements because they don't exist, you need to go into display. You have to leave the magnifier, go into display, uncheck those checkboxes, and then turn the magnifier off. Whereas with this, Option Command Delete, give your computer to somebody else, let them use it for a while, Option Command Delete, and everything's back where you were. And as I've shown you before, it's very easy to do. It's very convenient. It helps, in both work and play. Now, what is the asking price of something like this? $399. And you're probably thinking that that's expensive. Yes, it is, but you have to understand a couple of things. First of all, this technology is very unique. Secondly, the market that would use this technology compared to everybody else is very small. So you would not expect this to sell in extremely high volumes like you would, say, Adobe Photoshop or something like, or I'm sorry, Photoshop was a bad example. What do we use? Some application in the App Store. We'll do that. The point is, this would not sell in high volume, so the price will be considerably higher. Now, is it worth it? Personally, I think so, because you've got this great smoothing. It just looks a lot better. You've got all these different kinds of enhancements you can use. You've got quick keyboard access to everything. You don't have to juggle between speech, enhancements, magnification. It's all there and ready for you to turn on and off at the blink of an eye as you need it. So I think personally that ZoomText is considerably better than the default magnifier on both platforms. It's also available for Windows, and the one on Windows kicks the default options in Windows out of the water. But I would honestly say the same for the Mac. But I'm curious, now that you guys have seen the two side by side from a ZoomText user and not necessarily, a member of the staff that works on it, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.